We are still working on G1 area, but today we're going to take it up a notch, and instead of just doing basic shapes, we're going to compile them together to make composite figures or other polygons. Most of the time, you're not going to be given a formula for all these different shapes. There's no way you can have a formula for all these different shapes. However, all of the shapes that we have are made up of basic shapes that we can use all of the basics and add them together. We call them composite figures. Now, with this one, we can divide this up in many different ways. One way is we can draw a line right there, and now we have a square and a rectangle, and that's fine. You can also do one right here and make it a whole rectangle. Find the area of the whole rectangle and then subtract that piece. Again, it's all in how you see it. And that's the most confusing about composite shapes, is the way I do it may be different from the way that you divide yours up. But we should still come up with the same area. So let's look at this. And I'm going to divide mine right here, where I have a square and a rectangle. Now, it's not a beautiful square and a rectangle, but we get the idea. All right, so we have a 2 by 2. So that's going to be S squared, or 2 squared. So the area of this square is 4 inches squared, okay, because that's our 2 squared. Now, we have a rectangle right here. All right, this rectangle, we're going to say length times width or base times height. Now, our length is 10, and our height is 6, okay? This 8 right here is talking about the height from here all the way up there. So we got the 6 plus that 2 right there. So then our area here is going to be 60 inches squared. So what we're going to do is we're going to add our 60 inches squared and our 4 inches squared, which is going to give us a total of 64 inches squared. All right, so now let's look at another one that we're going to see a lot. And sometimes we can actually take this one and it can resemble a house if we turn that triangle a little bit, which is one I've seen in several different test item banks, is where we have a rectangle or square on bottom, and then you have the attic or where the roof is on top. It's a triangle. So here we go. Let's get started on this. Right here, let's go ahead and do this rectangle right here. So we have A equals length times width. Our length is going to be 4 right here. Now, if you notice, I don't have any side dimensions here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this whole 6 right here and subtract this 2. Because I know from here to here is 6, and I know this is 2, so it has to be 4. Okay? So because 4 plus 2 is going to give me my total of 6. So that's where we got that. So the width is 4 also. So A is going to be 16 inches squared. Now, let's talk about this triangle. We have 1/2 base times height. My base here is not listed, but it is parallel to this. And we know with squares and rectangles that if the base here is 4, this top is going to be 4 too. They are congruent sides. All right, so 4 and 4. So we got a base of 4. And our height of our triangle is 2. Again, they're going to try to confuse you by giving you a number right here for this hypotenuse. It's not necessary for area, so it's not needed. All right, so half of 4 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So the A equals 4. The area of this triangle is 4 inches squared. So again, use your formulas, break it apart how you see it and how you can do it. Now, I will show you another one real quick that we could do. If you really felt like you wanted to add a little extra to it, we could take this whole shape and make it a rectangle. So then you could find the area of the whole rectangle, which would be a 4 by 6, and then subtract this triangle. So it's really up to you on how you divide it, but make sure you understand the different dimensions and you put them in the right spots, and then either add them together at the end or subtract them depending on how you divided it up.